Hello. Welcome to a very, very important Radio Free Wall Street. I want to start out with announcements. The great trade wars have now started. They will end up in a depression, a financial collapse. They will end up in wars and suffering, and they will end America as a great empire. All great nations, from the Greeks to the Babylonians to the Dutch, believe it or not, even the Spanish were great trading nations. They plied the sea. They bought and sold goods around the world. They traded sometimes with massive deficits, and they didn't have an idiot like Donald Trump running the show. Once they decided that they wanted to change the direction of trade, they wanted to change trading partners. Once they started pulling out of trade agreements and they were not in the major trading markets, they soon became non-empires. They existed no more. They wiped out. And there's not one case in history of a former empire, after it shoots itself in its great big foot, coming back. So, like Marcus Aurelius and the men who lorded over great trading nations to foster the destruction, Donald Trump has destroyed your America as a great trading nation. Making America great again when listening to a freaking coal miner and an asshole from a steel mill is a serious mistake. Factory workers are nice people and God made them, but you really don't want them doing your thinking for you, and I know you've known a lot of them. Now, people with IQs of 70, God love them, are the worker bees of the world. But they are not the philosophers, the thinkers, or the great entrepreneurs. We have now guaranteed a market wipeout, guaranteed the Trump depression. Now, let me explain. This is not the art of the bullshit money laundering deal with Russians. This is not the art of hooking up with hookers by promising them they can be on your TV show. This is not the deal of pinching some little 20-year-old girl who's starstruck, who wants her break, and you're a billionaire, okay? That shit is for losers, boozers, drug users, okay? We are talking about world powers. We're talking about great trading nations. We are talking about trillions of dollars in business, and I really don't want to rely upon that with Stormy, and I certainly want Kushner involved in it, and I certainly do not want Donald Trump there. Got it? So this asshole, this guy we all love that's making America great again, is a disaster. Now, when he gets thrown out or carried out, I'm not sure how it's going to go with him. Maybe he has a heart attack. I hope not. Certainly don't want to see that happen. But however he is removed from office, feet first, head first, leg first, ass first, he will be removed from office. And his legacy will be that he began the great trade wars. And the great trade wars will end up in death and destruction, and not just trade wars, but real wars with real bodies. Can you imagine America as we attack China on the Silk Road? Can you imagine in the South China Sea, China running off our freighters? This is the future that Donald Trump has brought you. Now, this is not an art of the deal. Donald Trump doesn't know anything about deals. I said like we're dealing with Stormies. Now, if you want a guy to do a cocaine deal for you, Donald Trump's the guy. If you want a guy to do ERA Century 21 real estate sham deal, boy, he's the guy. If you want a guy to do the money laundering for Russian oligarchs, Donald Trump is the deal. But these are not the kind of deals he's dealing with now, okay? These are deals of sophisticated people. They involve cooperation, finesse, negotiation skills. They involve a memory. They involve research and preparation. Does Donald Trump really bring all that to the table? If you think so, then you're a Trump too. So, how does this all turn out? Well, let me explain. Before this trade deal got out of hand, when Donald Trump was storming and blowing and going, there was a solution on the table. Let me tell you what it was. China said, look, let's talk straight here. Your factories cannot compete with our slave labor markets. That's a fact. You can say yes and give algorithms and robots. You can get that guy and grease him up and give him a brand new hard hat, and you can tell him how great he is. You can give him a robot assistant to help lift the heavy boxes. But reality is that whatever technology your worker has, the Chinese workers have. Whatever your cost of a factory in China where you dump the toxic waste down at the nursing home means he has got an incredible advantage. And that advantage is getting better, not worse. And there are other slave labor nations warming up, like India, whose currency now has sunk to its lowest level against the dollar ever. And you got places like Vietnam. And there's always a shithole with slave laborers to exploit. Got it? And the problem is that you don't want to compete where you can't compete. See, one of the first things you learn as a businessman is, what am I good at and what am I not good at? What can we do in-house and what should we farm out? And what are our costs and where do we do it cheaper, okay? The semiconductor industry grew up on the slave laborers of Asia, including the Japanese, before they became a mighty trading nation, if the truth be known. You remember when Japanese shit was junk? Okay, well, that's not the case anymore. So now you need to wake up and smell the coffee and understand that we have started a trade war. We cannot possibly win. We have started a trade war that's going to go very badly. And we have now moved into the twilight zone of the Trump presidency. Now, let me tell you about the deal. The Chinese were very forthcoming and said, look, there are some things we can't even make profitable in China anymore, and a lot of our companies are going to Vietnam and going to India and other shitholes so we can find the next cheapest labor. Sure, our negotiations have to change from the time that when trade deals were made with China, it was an emerging nation. And it got very favorable status because we decided, rightly so, going back to Reagan, that it was far better to trade with China than have to kill them. Remember my old deal. It's a lot cheaper to do business with them, a lot cheaper to give them a job, a lot cheaper to feed them. Then you got to kill them. You got to dig the bodies out, the ammunition. Then you got to get crazy people doing crazy things. And those crazy soldiers come home and they're unemployable. So war is just, I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people really like it. It's a lot of fun, but it is very destabilizing to business. And ultimately, you pay a price. You lose a generation of people who are your warriors. War does make people crazy, even if they pretend like they're not. And away you go. As versus making people business managers and traders and entrepreneurs. So, do you want to raise a generation of mercenary killers that, you know, read their Soldier Fortune magazine and go, look how I cut his genitals off. Oh, how cool is that? Oh, yeah, we put it in his mouth. Hey, that's what I want to do. Oh, Mommy, can I have a home torture kit? Or, Mom, I'm going to learn how to program Python. And I really am interested in programming computers. What do you think I should do? Oh, I think you should get a gun. And after you rape them, you cut them up in little pieces. And maybe you eat them and fry them, okay? So do we want to raise a nation of sickos? Or do we want to be entrepreneurs? And Donald Trump, I think, prefers sickos. Spank me, baby, honey. Okay, well, you got your wish. You're going to be great again. Donald Trump appreciates ICE officers who are committing genocide. And now we have one who's doing mass murder, a serial killer. And there are many more. Ripping 2-year-old babies out of their mother's arms. I got 5 kids in prison from mother's arms. Look at this. This is where the little bastard scratched me when I beat him with the butt of my gun when nobody's looking. And he won't do that again. Oh, they're animals. Okay, and that, so now you got sickos running around. And sickos beget sickos, you get more sickos, you get sickos, and then you get pretty sickos. Fine. You want to go medieval? Enjoy yourself. Good luck. I think I have another plan. So the trade war was started. Now, again, getting back to the negotiation, China agreed and said, listen, why don't we solve the balance of trade deficit, if that's what you're so upset about? Why don't we solve it very easily and very profitably? We'll buy our oil from you. You get the terminals put up. You bring the oil to us. We will gladly buy it from America. We will import oil equal to what we're exporting to you. Everybody goes home happy. They'll go, no, that don't sound right to me. No, I don't think, I'm looking for jobs in coal mines and the steel mills, and I want to sell some wheat down there, but I don't know if I want to do oil. That oil is dirty stuff. Melania told me that it gets all over the clothes and it's really disgusting. And I want to use clean burning coal. Well, you got a freaking idiot, a congenital idiot. His son's an idiot, so, you know, including not just the junior one, but the youngest one. So, you know, 1 out of 3 is retarded. He took the genes from the father, obviously. People say that Donald Trump has no grasp of information, no memory, no ability to analyze things, has no reason to study it. And you better read the book Fear, okay? Because even though it's a deep state conspiracy, deep state, are we going to let Henry make an idiot out of you? Seriously, a political hack, okay? Certainly not a news organization. Or are you going to scratch your ears and go, well, wait a minute. We're putting 10% duty against all the things I buy from China, and I got to pay that. See, that isn't a deep state conspiracy. That's a Donald Trump screw-up. Now it gets better. Donald Trump has threatened after these $250 billion that now is under some kind of tariff deal with Donald Trump, that he wants to increase it to $500 billion. And he says that the Chinese retaliate anyway. He's going to raise it to $500 billion. And he also said that in January, if they do not kiss his ass and do what he wants, he's going to raise the duty 25%. Now, believe it or not, the stock market went, whew, that's really great. We're only going to have to worry about 10% duty, not 25%. You go, hello, douchebag stupid. Do you understand what a trade war is? You got, it's kind of funny how sometimes people don't grasp things. And when they do grasp it, it's normally when they're, well, I'm staying in this bread line here. I hope they don't run out of food before I get in there. I'm sure sorry. I put my money in that bank that went broke. I'm sure I had all that debt. I wish I had cash. And my wife left me, and here I am in a soup kitchen. And that's going to be you. And that's going to be your friends and your neighbors if you don't wise up. Because we're headed for a recession. That's how the capitalistic system works. And we're headed for depression. And the depression's like, if you don't let the recession take its course, and you keep doing the same stupid shit that the market is trying to warn you not to do, like let bankers lose billions, well, then you get a depression. And then the depression is so big and bad that the economic system says, you know what? We're going to make the losses so big you can't bail nobody out. You want to bail them out, and you want to let AIG continue to operate when they should be in jail, and you want to let these investment bankers write CDO dues squared, and the only difference is they call it something different, make it more complicated so regulators can't find it? Fine. You're going to let that run wild in your system, gone from $400 trillion to $900 trillion in derivatives? Fine. We got to wait. We'll just flush the toilet on all of you. And that is what is about to happen. And Donald Trump's trade war is absolutely disastrous. Now, let's talk straight. You love America? Really? Then why did you make China great again? I mean, if you really, really, really loved America, why didn't you buy American? And if you're like most people, by the way, do you remember when Walmart was running that special effect? I had talked to Sam about that then. You know what he said? He said, the problem is we get more returns on the Made America stuff. You remember they had Made America fans and Made America toasters, and the American companies decided that they'd make China shit, cheaper China shit than China shit. And the problem was it was such shit, it came back under warranty. It was a major disaster. Why? Well, you can be the smartest guy in the world, and you can use spaceship rocket technology, but the reality is if you got to pay your people $15 to $20 an hour benefits and taxes, and your competitor pays them $1 an hour, well, there's a lot of profit that you don't have. So in order to compete and make America great again, and buy America, buy American. I remember the box with a little flag on the box. Remember Rolling in the Breeze? Sometimes they'd show like a blonde girl or a guy and a girl, make America great again, apple pie, mom, don't you dare, put a flag on the box. Don't you dare not salute this flag. Kneel, oh my God, they'd kill you. So what happened? It didn't work. You couldn't make it. So America decided to make the smartphone. We decided to make the internet. We decided to make all kinds of wonderful things that are changing and transforming society. And we'll let the $1 an hour Chinese girl glue it together in the factory, breathing the fumes with no fans and no mask, okay? Oh, you got that big lump on your neck, you're fired. Anyway, then Donald Trump came along. Doo-doo-doo! Oh, Captain Stupid. So you now are in a trade war. Now, you got a reprieve. There was almost a moment last night where the market figured out, so wait a minute, trade war? Biggest ever? Most amounts of goods subject to duty in the history of mankind? The world's two great trading nations are going to stop trading with each other? Somebody went, that might be bad. I don't know, I like that. And the guy goes, listen, this is E.F. Sutton here, and we're the Blackstone people, and we're Fidelity, and we're telling you there's nothing to worry about. Buy more stocks for your retirement. They went, Oh, okay. I buy stocks for my retirement. Hold the course. Stay and play. Ignore that trade war. Deep state conspiracy. Okay, I got it. So these idiots have got their money, and they got it tied up with idiots. And mark my words, as, oh shit, you wake up one day, the stock market's crashing. You wake up one day, the economies are coming unglued. You wake up one day and the dominoes start with third world shithole debt wiping out. And then the really fun thing happens, and you're in a depression. And Donald Trump, well, he goes down as the most hated president ever. And Trumpers all deny, no, I didn't vote for him, no, no. I was somebody else on set, one woman, no, one me, right? And so you're now in for a wipeout like we've never envisioned before. And I want to get here and tell you that a trade war has started. There is no backing down. Are you hearing me? And this is going to get uglier and uglier and uglier. And there's going to be more countries sucked into it, more products, more tariffs. And I hope you're ready for the Donald Trump depression. And yesterday was a very sad day because there was some hope that he wouldn't do it. Now, in our analysis, and we've been pretty clear about this, Donald Trump's under siege. He knows he's a piece of shit. He knows he colluded. He knows he obstructed justice. He did it with Twitter. We all saw him do it. Well, I was a deep state. Donald Trump said that. Don't believe anything you read, anything you see. And those tapes, I didn't say that was doctrine. Yeah, those deep state guys are very, very mean. You know, Donald Trump, he's my president. And me and my babies are going to go in the coal mine. Thank you, Donald. Shit. They're actually idiots to believe that shit, okay? Now, let me tell you about stupid. Stupid people die poor. I may be poor, but I got my dignity. No, you don't have any dignity. Your badge of honor was you got fooled by a liberal Democrat who convinced you that he was a conservative. You got fooled by a limousine liberal who's been your enemy from day one from New York, where the evil empire exists. Your preachers told you that, well, yeah, we saw that on the bus, but Donald Trump's a changed man. Really? Really? Is he a changed man? Yeah, he got saved the first period of that. Really? Really, did he? Do you believe that shit? So what happened? Well, Donald Trump promised the preachers the things they wanted, and they just told you all to vote for him. There's a God in heaven, and the price will be paid for that. So when leaders fail their people, there is a price to be paid. So what do I want to tell you? What was the heart of this whole thing? The discussion here is the trade wars have begun. They will last for 20 years and end with war. America will be reduced to this thing to that great soybean oil-producing nation that's a has-been. And sandwiched between Canada and Mexico, life in America will go on, but not as a superpower, not as a player. Donald Trump said we're making America first and America again, and that will be the case. But it'll be a much poorer America. It'll be America that is not a player, not a contender. And the only thing that will keep America's relatively free, at least from the outsiders, will be our great nuclear arsenal and the fact that we grow soybean, corn, and deliver oil the world over. But no more are we the power broker. No more do we decide. And that's a shame. I mean, that's a real loss. But America's will be great again because Donald Trump decides what greatness is. So it's a very sad day as the trade war begins. It's a very sad day as Trump has moved us down a road that went very badly. Once trade wars are like a forest fire, they're really easy to start, and they're real hard to put out. And eventually, when you put them out, they burned everything in sight. So you're about to be burnt, and the trade sanctions will go to 25% over the duty charges. He's itching to do it. Why? Well, Donald Trump's going to get his ass kicked in the midterm elections. House is gone. I believe he'll lose the Senate by 4 votes. And here's the problem. There will not be 70%. There will not be enough votes for impeachment, but there will be enough distractors to raise hell. And Donald Trump will manipulate the market, the media, and public opinion with trade wars. So prepare for a very ugly time as the trade wars get bigger. Less goods and products will cross our borders. True prosperity will be leaving America, and we'll be the great oil producer and soybean nation that was a has-been. It's okay. You got Greece. the list of has-beens is really big. I mean, look, what's the last time I heard the great Spanish anything? And Caesar's gone, and there's no Roman Empire. And England, like I tell you, they barely can hang on to Northern Ireland, and even that's busting their balls. So America, well, after we get rid of Donald Trump, we'll have to apologize to Canada and Mexico. Let me give you a quick little footnote. The Mexican equation was not Mexico's idea. The car manufacturer in Mexico was the car company's idea. Here's why. They had $40 an hour labor rate versus $10 in Mexico. So by getting the trade deal done, NAFTA, they were able to take advantage of very cheap Spanish labor in Mexico, very good labor, highly qualified, highly skilled, really readily trained, loyal workers. Cost you $5 an hour, complete benefit package. And that was because of the power of the unions. So this was an agreed-upon strategy. Now, Donald Trump's going to go, I don't like that. We're making that car in America. We're Americans, black on. When's the last time Donald Trump owned a car? Drove one. So you got President Idiot, the pincher-in-chief, who's decided that cars are made in America. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you make a car with $4 an hour labor, it costs you more than if you make it with $10 an hour labor. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Duh! The problem is that who's paying more? You are. Now, Americans have constantly voted. They didn't give a shit where it was made. They didn't care who it was made. They didn't care how it was made, as long as the best price. But Donald Trump, in his brilliance, has decided, no, you care about where it's made. And continuously, when Americans are asked to choose, they choose, I don't give a shit where it's made, I want cheaper. Well, Donald Trump is choosing for you because your car is going to cost you more, and your lumber is already costing you more, and your steel, pretty soon you're shopping. So it was a great deal. By the way, the Chinese deal was very simple. During the 70s and 80s, when prices were rising so much, the powers that be, not the deep state, no, your political buddies decided, wait a minute, we can bring into America a huge cost savings, and we'll import deflation from these poor countries to overcome our inflation. And when we do that, the consumer will see a great relief in prices. That way we don't have the heat, okay? Remember the heat from inflation? And we also modernize China. We bring them into the sphere of trading nations. And most countries are smart enough, except for Donald Trump, not to bomb the people who are buying your goods and services from you. So this was not a deal cooked up by China. It was a really bad deal. I know a bad deal when I see one. Stormy was a good deal. Oh la la, Stormy beat me, baby. Okay, I mean, look at the got girls pissing on him. That's your president, and that's the guy your preacher told you to vote for. Time to change preachers and presidents. Anyway, back on the ranch, the deals were supposed to be modified. The deals were supposed to change. The deals were supposed to evolve. They were not supposed to go into a trade war. They were not supposed to go to trade embargoes, not in duty. And they were not supposed to wipe out the U.S. economy. But, see, Donald Trump doesn't understand any of that. So you guys elected yourself a whore master, a pimp, a thief, murderer, money launderer, criminal, who wants to be dictator. And he wants his buddies to do well, and he wants you to pay the price. And so far, he's done real well. Because how much? By the way, now another question is, how much has your taxes gone down on Donald Trump? Did you get $1.7 trillion tax savings like the biggest, wealthiest corporations and individuals in America? I don't think so. So this is going to end very badly. You have been warned. The Trump trade war has started, and it's going to end up in poverty. It's going to end up in oppression. It's going to end up in America. Well, that's on America. You heard what he said? He said America's not going to be a great superpower. Donald, we got to stop this, Donald. It's a deep state conspiracy.